We want to excel. That's what we want to do this year, okay? We want to have the right thinking and behavior, okay? We want to have the right targets and motivation. We want to be able to generate ideas and make a plan. We want to be able to action those ideas, those priorities, and measure them. And we also want to take responsibility for things, okay? Which we're going to come back to in a moment. So this, if you haven't recognized it, this is the Solution Focused Success System, okay? And I'll tell you a little bit more about that when we've done the wellness wheel. But in order to be successful, we need these areas have to be covered, okay? It comes from some research that I did many years ago into what makes successful people successful. And these elements here are all of the key elements that we need in order to be successful, to excel, if you like, going forward, okay? Before we do that, we need to do a diagnostic. Before you can write a plan on what you're going to do, we need to do a diagnostic on what we need to work on, okay? So, this is called the wellness wheel. If you were on this morning's session, then obviously you've just recognized it. There's only a handful, maybe a couple of people, I think, that were on this morning session, just looking at the numbers. If you've not come across this before, if you Google wellness wheel and go to images in Google, you will find this model, okay? And there are 8 sections to this model, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 sections. The first section, let's start here in no particular order, okay? And I'm going to urge you to do this while I go through this. So, grab a piece of paper and a pen. So just grab a piece of paper and a pen that you've got handy, okay? And when we talk about each section, I just want you to write it down, okay? Just write each section down so you've got a list of these sections, okay? And then I'll come back to it in a moment, okay? So, we'll start with physical fitness. So if you've got a pen and paper, just write physical fitness down, okay? Physical fitness. How physically fit are you? It's a rhetorical question, obviously. But the question here is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how is your physical fitness? Now, 1 is it's awful, it's not good. 10 is it's the best it can be. All right? So on a scale of 1 to 10, and it'll be your scale, I'm just giving you a parameter for 1 and 10. 1, don't do anything. 10, it's the best it can be. On a scale of 1 to 10, give yourself a number. Okay, give yourself a number. So mark yourself currently for your physical fitness levels. Okay? Just mark yourself. So what you've done so far is you've written down physical fitness and you've put a number next to it. A number out of 10 next to it. Okay? 1 being doesn't happen, 10 being it's the best it can be. Just give yourself a number between 1 and 10, okay? And do me a favour, then just go to the chat box on today's session. Just go to the chat box and just type your number in for me, if you don't mind. If you don't mind sharing, just type your number in. What was your number on a scale of 1 to 10? Yeah? So my number for this, I think, is about 5 at the moment. There you go. So Tessa said 6. Anybody else out there want to share their number on a scale of 1 to 10? What is your number? 1 being, there we go, we've got a few more. Christine, Cherish said 5. Marie, 9. Oh, right, Marina, I'm going to need to come and speak with you. Mark Wells, 9. Fantastic. Maybe you can give me some tips. So, guys, if you can see people with high numbers, maybe ask them what they're doing. Yeah, maybe buddy up with them and see what's what on the end of it. But mine's about a 5 at the moment. It's not good. It's not great. I was building a workshop in my garden up until about 2 months ago. So lots of physical work, and then I've completed it, and I haven't really done anything since. So I've decided to start running, but that starts to come back to the plan. So we'll come back to that in a moment. So physical fitness. Then we go, oh, we've got one. Mark said I run 3 fitness classes per week is that in Teams? in CNI, Oxford. Anybody welcome? Fantastic, great, Mark. That's brilliant. That is, Mark. Brilliant. You'll have to send us the invite for that, Mark. You never know. I might be able to get on one of them. So if anybody else wants to do anything like that, there you go. Mark can give you a link for that. And Jim's put 5. So look, it's somewhere, isn't it? I'm glad there's some honest people, and then there's some people that are doing a lot about their fitness. Great. Okay. So you just mark yourself out of 10. It's a little bit of diagnostic. Mine's a 5 at the moment, so I need to do something about it. So I've decided I'm going to start running. I used to run years ago, so I'm going to start doing a run 2 or 3 times a week, just to start getting my physical fitness levels back to where I want them to be. Okay. Then sleep is the next one. So write sleep in there, and then on a scale of 1 to 10, how well you sleep. Very simple, very straightforward. 1, I don't get any sleep. 10, I sleep like a log. Okay, so again, write your number in and drop it in the chat box, just so we can get an eye on who does what. Lots of people don't always sleep particularly very well. So I think on mine for sleep, it's a 4 or 5, something like that. I don't particularly sleep very well. I know there are some things I could do in order to sleep better. Okay, so there we've got a 4. So there's a bit of a contrast, isn't there, between Jim and Marina. We've got a 4. Jim's a 9 and Marina's a 4. So again, just give yourself a mark out of 10 for that, scale of 1 to 10. This is going somewhere. This will give you a diagnostic in the end, don't worry. Okay. Then we've got pleasant activities. Doing things that you enjoy doing. Now, this one may have been hit a little bit, obviously, with COVID over the last 12 months. So, write down pleasant activities or things I like doing, whatever it may be, stuff that you enjoy, yeah? And then on a scale of 1 to 10, give yourself a number. So give yourself a number on the scale of 1 to 10. How good is this area of your life currently? Things that you enjoy doing. Okay, 1 being none, I'm not doing any of those things at the moment. 10 being absolute no problem, got it in the bag, doing them all the time. Okay, pleasant activities. And you know, pleasant activities can be anything. For me, pleasant activity is playing golf. At the moment, that number is low because I'm not allowed to play golf. Yeah, pleasant activity though might be seeing my children. I'm still allowed to do that. Yeah, so Jim's put 8. Okay, guys, just go to the chat box. Let's get a few more different answers, if you can. Drop me some of your numbers in there. It'd be really interesting just to see, and for other people to see, what other numbers people have got. Pleasant activities. Okay, scale of 1 to 10. No more numbers. I know there's a little bit of a lag. There we go, we've got another one. Thank you, Marina, again, for putting that number in. That's fine. Okay, so Marina's about a 5. So there might be some logistical reasons why that's happening and stuff at the moment as well. Okay, Jim's up at an 8. Okay, so he's doing lots of things in that area. Okay, brilliant. Then emotional well-being. So a lot of people think this is like pink and fluffy stuff. This is emotionally how you're feeling at the moment. 1 being it's absolutely dreadful, you know, verge of depression, all the way through to I'm as happy as I can be emotionally, which is number 10. This one may have also taken a hit. I think I'm about a 7 or an 8 on this, something like that. Okay, so again, write down emotional well-being, okay, and then give yourself a number, scale of 1 to 10. Okay, oh, Siri thinks I'm talking to her now for some reason. She's just Googling emotional well-being for me. Jim's up there with an 8 again, yeah? Guys, if there's anybody else that you don't mind sharing your number, I understand if you don't want to for this one, I get it. But if you do, it's good for other people to see as well. I'm about a 7 or an 8 at the moment with this one. I think I could be better, but a big part of my personality is social contact. And of course, that's limited currently. So I think that's probably knocking a little bit of me at the moment. So the question is obviously the question of this is what can we do about these things, but keep going for now. Okay, keep going. Then you've got nutrition. Okay, so how well you excuse me He said, how well you, before he coughed. What do you put in your body? How well are you looking after yourself? How much water are you drinking? How well are you eating? How well are you looking after the things that you put in your body? What is your nutrition like? Again, write down nutrition, scale of 1 to 10. Okay, scale of 1 to 10. Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, nutrition wise, I can't remember what I put here actually. I'll have a quick look. Okay. Yeah, so I put a 4 for me. Jim's put 6. Thank you, Jim, for that. It's something that I could definitely do more of. I tend to kind of like, get very busy during the day and wing what I'm eating, and then feel rubbish later on in the evening, which is not very useful. So again, in order for you to excel, in order for you to be match fit for 2021, you need to make sure of what's your nutrition level. So as you can see here, what I'm doing, I'll come to relationships in a minute. I started with physical fitness. Is if you actually get this off Google, you can pinpoint what number, because these go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 little lines on here, okay? 1 being rubbish, 10 being brilliant. You can start to pinpoint where you are on this wellness wheel. So again, if you haven't got this, don't worry. Write down nutrition, and then give yourself a number between 1 and 10. How well you are at the moment with your current nutritional levels. Okay. Then we move on to your professional life. Okay. I've put about an 8.5 out of 10 for my professional life at the moment. I'm still having to, I can still speak to clients, I can still teach this kind of thing, I can do it via our studio. It's not a 10 because I would much rather be standing in front of people physically than doing the kind of thing. But it's not bad, it's not bad. That has definitely changed, that is, over the last 12 months. When we went into first lockdown, that would have been way down here. It's only over time and building the portfolio of doing this in a studio and so on that it's moved me up there. So it could well be that you're working from home. It could well be that you're in and out the office. It could well be that you're not having to sit in the same place as you sat last time. So again, marks out of 10, write down professional life. 1 being I am miserable. 10 being I'm happy, really happy. Give yourself a number. Thank you again, Jim, for putting your number down there, guys. And guys, feel free to put your numbers here. This is, if you start committing to these numbers, it gives you that diagnostic. When we're all finished with this, you will have a diagnostic of exactly where you can go and work on in these areas in order to help yourself to be match fit for the year. Okay. Then you've got spiritual. Now, spiritual, as I said before, might be biblical for argument's sake. It might be, if you're, Christian or Sikh or whatever it may be. If you've got a belief set around religion, that you could use that for that, no problem whatsoever. If you haven't got that so much, then spiritual still means kind of mindset, being centered, being comfortable with your purpose, if you like. Also, how much do you work on calming your mind and looking after your mental health? So if you don't want to do spiritual for that, you could simply write mental health instead of spiritual. That's absolutely fine. And then give yourself a mark out of 1 to 10. 1 being I don't think about it at all. 10 being actually I do quite a lot on this subject. Jim again has put 7. Thank you for that, Jim. I am about a 5 at the moment, which you might think is a bit crazy coming from me with what I teach and so on and so on. But let me tell you, it's easy to teach than do. Okay, and so sometimes I do these sessions and kind of think, that's a good point there, John. You didn't really apply that to yourself last week, did you? So everybody can learn, and I'm, opening myself honest and opening myself bare to you here, that actually sometimes we don't think about this. We do for other people, and if you came on this morning session, You'll have 20 ways where you can go and help other people and 10 scientific reasons of why it's useful for you. But the key thing is how much time are you spending on your mental health? Yeah? And when it comes to mental health, it's not this old-fashioned, taboo subject. This is about how well are you talking to yourself? How often are you calming your mind? How often are you resetting yourself? And so on and so on and so on and so on. Okay? So write down spiritual or mental health, number 1 to 10. Okay? Then finally, relationships. Okay? How are your current relationships? Okay? How are your current relationships? Are they good? Are they not so good? This could mean your loving relationships, your work relationships, whatever it may be. Okay? I'm about an 8 at the moment on my relationships. All my relationships with my family are all good, my friends and colleagues and all that type of stuff. But I can't see any of them. So that's waning a little bit for me. I haven't been with any of my family indoors since last March. So nearly 12 months I have not been in the same room with any of my family, including at Christmas. So that's starting to wane on me a little bit from a relationship point of view. But give yourself a number, write down relationships, 1 to 10. How's your relationships with other people? So, what we've just done now is we've gone full circle around the wellness wheel. Okay? And as you can see on here, what I've done here, Jim, thank you again for your number, I appreciate that. What I've done in here is I've actually put points for my numbers, okay? And if you download this, you could do exactly the same. And then what you do is you link those points together via a line. And what it does is it gives you a spider graph. It gives you a, thank you for that number. It gives you a pictorial version of the numbers that you've just written down, okay? So another way of doing this, being as you don't have this in front of you guys, if you've just written this down, okay, is add up your numbers and see what you get out of 80. Okay? Now somebody out there could also calculate that quite quickly into a percentage if you like. So I think get your number, divide by 80 times 100, that should do it. And that will give you a percentage of how well you are on your wellness wheel. Okay? And obviously, if these all add up to 10, then there's 80 of them. So you get 80 points. So if you've got 40, if you've come out as 40, then you are 50% of where you would like to be in your wellness wheel. Okay? And bearing in mind, we want to be match fit. We want to be match fit for this year. We need to I would suggest we need to be probably what? 70, 80%? Yeah, 70, 80% of that in order to at least have a chance of really being match fit. So maybe 7 or 8 out of 10 on average going around these things. So I know you haven't got this in front of you as in printed out, but you can get it. If you've just written the subject down and then a number, add those numbers up and see what you are out of 80. And then I think if you divide it by 80 times it by 100, you'll get a percentage. So what is your percent of wellness, if you like? If you're at 50% or 60% or 80%, whatever it may be of wellness. The reason I like this is because it's quite pictorial. So if you imagine the best state you can be in, the best of your wellness wheel would actually look like a perfect octagon. So you would have a line crossing each of these areas and it would make a perfect octagon. As you can see from my spider graph is not a perfect octagon, is it? And it's certainly waning on some areas. So the biggest one straight away I can see on here is going to be nutrition and spiritual. So 2 key things that I'm not doing very well at the moment is I can get better food in me on a regular basis and I can do some calming of the mind things, yeah, more often than I'm currently doing to make sure my mental well-being is in a better place. The thing with me, and this is not an excuse, this is the reason that I'm giving you, is these two get low when I get busy. And some of you might feel the same things sometimes. So this is all great when you're not busy, but when you get busy, some of these start to dip. And I'm a nightmare for it. Yesterday I went up until 6 o'clock and only had a little bit of porridge to eat because I was busy, and I didn't purposely not eat. I forgot to eat. Now I know some of you might be going, oh my God, are you having a laugh? I can't forget to eat. But I did. So of course, by the time I got to 6 o'clock, I felt dreadful because I hadn't really eaten anything during the day. Yeah. So these two things actually drop when I get busy. And we've been incredibly busy over the last 12 months, you know, with changing ways that we do things and so on and so on and so on. So these are two areas. When I wrote this session for today, and I always write them quite close to when I'm doing them, so they're always kind of, you know, most current. So I think I wrote this on Sunday, 2 days ago. As soon as I wrote that and saw it, I got my running stuff out. I haven't been yet, but I'm going. I got my running stuff out so I could start to do a bit more physical exercise. I actually made sure, because I'm here till 9 o'clock tonight, because I'm running an evening session as well, that I've got lots of healthy things to eat today and drink, yeah? And I'm gonna make sure I have time for a walk around the car park, a little bit of mind drop in between the sessions when I'm running them. So straight away I've started picking up on maybe the 3 key things that is low on my wellness wheel, because if they're left unattended, they will get lower. And of course then you're going to have big jagged edges to your spider graph, and that's going to show you there's a big dip in certain things. So I think there was a couple of people when they were giving their numbers, yeah, we got a couple of 4s in there, didn't we? Yeah, we got a couple of 4s. So now a 4 would be here. So that would be a kind of a low kind of point to then go, let's have a look at these things going forward. So I urge you to do this, guys. I really, really do. If you want to be match fit, okay, then you can do all the great things. You can set goals, you can do this, you can do that, you can come up with new ideas, you can help get through transition. But if you personally want to be match fit, you've got to look at these different areas of your life and be very honest with yourself and go, where am I with these? Now, sometimes I get the question asked, should we be 10 in everything? Well, ideally, yes. If we lived in an utopia world, you have 10 physical fitness, you'd be sleeping the best you could, you'd be doing a load of stuff that you like to do, emotionally you'd be strong and you'd feel great, you'd be eating everything perfectly with no bad stuff whatsoever. Your professional life would be singing and dancing and taking off and being promoted and everything else that's going on. Spiritually, you would be calm of mind, or if you had a religion, your religion would be absolutely fantastic. You'd be bought into it 100%. And all of your relationships in the world would be brilliant. In a utopia, ideally, we want 10 out of 10. We don't live in a utopia, which means this is a moving picture. This picture of black lines here for me is going to move. It's going to change, it's going to morph, which is why doing this little diagnostic of your wellness wheel every now and then is quite useful. So this morning I recommended once a quarter. Okay, once a quarter. So once every 3 months, get your wellness wheel out, have a look at where it's going, have a look at what's going on, and then take some appropriate action on the back of where you need to take action. And it could be that you're not that bothered about getting your nutrition to 10. You might be happy with your nutrition being a 7. Okay, no problem, it's your scale. No problem at all. There's no problem saying you've got to get to 10. It's just obviously the higher you are, the happier, the more well you are, which is why this is called the wellness wheel. In fact, I've called it the wellness audit, as you can see there. So I hope that helps everybody, guys, because this is something that you could just spend 5 minutes doing right now or right after we finish the session. You know, Google the wellness wheel, download it and draw on it. Yeah, give yourself a number 1 to 10 and draw on it. And if that one looks a little bit too busy for you, there are other ones that are a bit clearer. I just particularly like this one because they've got the lines of 1 to 10 all the way up there. Okay, so once you've done the diagnostic and the audit, then you'll know what you need to work on in order to be match fit. And if I just come back a stage, once you know what to work on, then go back a bit more. Once you know what to work on, you can make sure you've got the right thinking and behavior in place for that thing you need to work on. You can then set yourself a goal and understand why it's important to you. But if you've done the wellness wheel properly, you'll already know why that goal is important to you. Then you can come up with some ideas and plans on how you can achieve that goal. Then you can take action on those plans and measure your success. And all of that means you'll be taking responsibility for your match fitness, if you want to use those words, okay? So just remember what I said again, and then I've got a couple of slides just to finish off with, okay? So once you've done your wellness wheel audit, you know where you need to work, you know which areas of your life you want to do some work on. You can then have the right mindset and behavior in order to do that. You can set yourself some goals to change. So I've set myself a goal this week to run 3 times. Okay, just to go out for a run. I don't know how long yet, I don't know how far. It depends how quickly I get out of breath and so on and so on, because I haven't run for 10 years, but I'll give it a go. Okay. You can then set yourself a target for it. That will motivate you, but you'll already know why you're motivated if you've done your wellness audit. Then generate loads of ideas on how you can do those things. So I'm having to think, when can I go for a run? Because I've got the girls, I've got my daughters at the end of the week because it's half term. I like to, it's half term, they haven't even had a term, have they? Do you know what I mean? But it's half term anyway. Then you can plan for that. So when are you going to do the running and so on and so on. What action can you take and how can you measure that? So how can you tick the box when you've done it? And if you do all of those things, then it means you're going to take responsibility for your wellness wheel. Okay, so if you do your wellness audit, you could have 8 little goals if you wanted, 1 for each area to then go and actually do something with, or just pick 1 or 2 areas like I have, which is nutrition and spiritual and physical exercise for me. Okay, so hopefully that's useful, and then just follow the solution focus system. These points: thinking and behavior, targets, motivation, ideas and generation, and action and measurement.